Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Nerds in the Word here at the desk, our Thursday edition. I'm glad that you are able to be in here to enjoy this time. There we go. Awesome. It's good to have you here, to be here. Solomon, I've been blessed so much by this dude. He's been throwing down artwork that's been graphic word fan focused. I'm not gonna lie. We may just have to throw it into our Discord and really be able to share it and hype it up, because Hokey Dyna, to have fans like you, Solomon, is mind-blowing. We are truly blown away at how much you care about us, how much you bless us, how much you just even have fun embracing nerdiness and getting hyped about us. That legitimately mind-blowing. It's just crazy. But I really appreciate it, Solomon. Thank you so much for just guys, what he's been sending us has been fan art that's been AI generated. It's been a lot of fun. Personal encouragement for me, personal encouragement for Tom. And Solomon, I do need to say this. Coach absolutely loved the one that you sent me of me and her in our podcast mode. She absolutely loved it. She was a huge fan. She told me I needed to tell you that. So thank you for that one. Yeah, guys, I'll if you want to see it, join our Discord community. I'll be throwing them up there. It's just fantastic stuff. For those of you who are listening, welcome. Thank you again for hopping on with us. Just another reminder of our Walk to Mordor fundraiser. That's happening all this month of April. That's right. And we are still open for walkers. Today and tomorrow are the last days for signing up to be a walker, runner, or a biker. We are looking for 50 heroes. We are currently sitting at 24 heroes. Yeah, that's 2 more than last year, so that's a big step in that way. But we could always have more people going on out there sharing about what we do and raising money to keep this ministry going. So if you are at all interested, if you are at all intrigued, please consider joining that. The link is down there, qiu.ca/walktomordor. There is both the registration as well as for those of you who are walking, running, and biking and raising support. That is where also the pledge form is available to have access and to be able to share that with other people. So please consider, be the hero for this ministry. Raise support for this ministry that we can keep on going, that we can keep on sharing nerdy connections to faith, to invest in people online, meeting where they are at, and helping them through some of their dark times, whether it's isolation, low self-esteem, or even just no community. We're there. That's what we do. Meeting them where they're at, loving on them, and pointing them to Jesus along the way too. So, guys, now let's dive into our personal scripture reading. Again, if you've got your physical copy, sweet. You are holier than thou. I'm kidding. You're not. We're all working on that. Thank you. The hydration's real. Yoink from the side, as it were. The glug-glugging is a good reminder. Oh, and the stretchy band. Oh, for stretch this. Gotta stretch that out. No pops in the sternum this time, though. No, that's a little boring. Sad and boring. No pops. We are continuing on in our walk for Psalms. We're almost halfway there, and I'm not gonna sing that till probably next Tuesday, and you'll get to hear my lovely voice. Or you might just try and fast forward through that segment. Either way, you got to put up with me. You got to work with it, guys. Just deal with it. Today we are diving into Psalm 74, and it is another Psalm of Asaph. And we are doing some reflection on what is kind of like a really rough spot for Israel at this point. Legitimately, worried, awkward, face. So we're working through that. But let's chew on this. Let's get this on and start diving in. So grab your Bibles, grab your notepads, grab your highlighters. Unless you have a phone, then you should highlight on there. because highlighting on a screen doesn't quite work out. Just saying. All right. Here we go. Oh God, why have you rejected us so long? Why is your anger so intense against the sheep of our own pasture? Remember that we are the people you chose long ago, the tribe you redeemed as your own special possession. And remember, Jerusalem, your home here on earth. Walk through the awful ruins of the city. See how the enemy has destroyed your sanctuary. Yeesh. Real rough. There your enemies shouted their victorious battle cries. There they set up their battle standards. They swung their axes like woodcutters in a forest. With axes and picks, they smashed the carved paneling. They burned your sanctuary to the ground. They defiled the place that bears your name. Then they thought, let's destroy everything. So they burned down all the places where God was worshipped. We no longer see your miraculous signs. All the prophets are gone, and no one can tell us when it will end. How long, O God, will you allow your enemies to insult you? Will you let them dishonor your name forever? Why do you hold back your strong right hand? Unleash your powerful fist and destroy them. You, O God, are my king from ages past, bringing salvation to the earth. You split the sea by your strength and smashed the heads of the sea monsters. You crushed the heads of Leviathan. The heads of Leviathan. Jeepers. And let the desert animals eat him. Goodness. You caused the springs and streams to gush forth, and you dried up rivers that never run dry. Both day and night belong to you. You made the starlight and the sun. You set the boundaries of the earth, and you made both summer and winter. See how these enemies insult you, Lord. You foolish nation, a foolish nation has dishonored your name. Don't let these wild beasts destroy your turtle doves. Don't forget your suffering people forever. Remember your covenant promises, for the land is full of darkness and violence. Don't let the downtrodden be humiliated again. Instead, let the poor and needy praise your name. Arise, O God, and defend your cause. Remember how these fools insult you all day long. Don't overlook what your enemies have said, or their growing uproar. Jeepers. Oh, Solomon, all the prophets are gone. Poor Banks. Yes. Cheesy humor there, Solomon. I appreciate that. That was good. What am I going to do with you guys? I guess I gotta love you guys. That's what it is. All right. Let's do this dive. Let's go into this and chew on it some more here, everybody. So, this psalm is pretty sucky. It's one of those lament psalms. One of those like, dude, life is not going right. If you were to rate life from 1 out of 10 or 1 to 10, this is definitely like a 1. Might even be a -1. Like, ooh, there's not a whole lot of hope here. In the first 3 verses alone here. Let's reread that. Oh God, why have you rejected us so long? Yee. Why is your anger so intense against the sheep of your own pasture? Huh. Remember that we are the people you chose long ago, the tribe you redeemed as your own special possession. Yeesh. And remember Jerusalem, your home here on earth. Walk through the awful ruins of the city. See how the enemy has destroyed your sanctuary. Like, guys, that is not really all that encouraging. Hate to break it to you. It's not really that happy mode kind of vibe. It's kind of like, dude, things suck. Things are kicking pretty hard. Like your anger against the sheep of your own pasture. He's feeling bailed out. He's feeling like, hey, God, you're supposed to be protecting us, guiding us. That's not happening. Remember who we are? It's almost like you forgot the very promise that brought us here in the first place, which is that, we are your people. That's what you said to Abraham. That's what it's throwing back. Like, this is Genesis. This is throwing back to Genesis 12 or 15. That, like, this is God's people. The people that God chose and said, I'm going to make you the focus of everything. Like, the nations are going to be blessed via you. Remember Jerusalem, your home here on earth. Which, by the way, like, that's kind of like a hint at, like, remember the temple? The very thing that you stepped into, that you were going to be, like, we made this house for you so that you could always be around with us. And it's like you forget. Walk through the awful ruins of the city. See how the enemy has destroyed your sanctuary. This kind of reads almost like this is one of the raids of the Assyrians. And I'd be interested to see if that's actually what's going on with Asaph, is that he's kind of recording that. The destruction of this city, of Jerusalem. And just the hardcore raid that was going on. And it was brutal. Like, it was nightmare walking out. Jeremiah talks about how he would walk out in the streets and there were just dead people. Young being trampled and barely scraping by, trying to find food. Like, yeah, this is a time where you could easily go, hey God, memo here. We're your people. Why did that happen? And I'm sure there are some of you who are watching this and you're like following God and you're like, no, I kind of get this right now. I'm feeling like that. I feel like life has just kind of stomped pretty hard on me. And I don't have like this peace of mind. I don't have this like stuff going on. And maybe it's like legitimately things are getting wrecked. I know around here we've had crazy weather where people are still out of power. For like electricity to heat their homes and all that kind of stuff, and like are not doing great. And there's another wave of bad weather that's coming, and it's like, oh great, so like insult to injury kind of stuff like that. It's like, God, where are you? It's brutal. Thank God we did not lose power. Yeah, Wally, 100%. Like, it's good. We're blessed here in Belleville that, like, there were some patches of the area that lost power, but, like, there's still peeps in Peterborough, like, who just recently got their power, and then they lost it again due to that hardcore storm last night. Because they've been getting it way worse up north than we have down here. It's just crazy. Let's continue onward. Verses 4 to 8. There your enemies shouted their victorious battle cries. There they set up their battle standards. Oh, it's like insult. They swung their axes like woodcutters in a forest. With axes and picks, they smashed the carved paneling. This is them like going into not just the city, but this sounds like the temple. Because when you walked into the temple, it was the feel of like a forest. And this is just like absolute destruction, absolute upheaval. They burned your sanctuary to the ground. Ooh. So God's very space is getting wrecked. They defiled the place that bears your name. Then they thought, let's destroy everything. So they burned down all the places where God was worshipped. So it wasn't insult enough to destroy the temple. No. Now we gotta make sure anything that's affiliated with God, it's gonna get wrecked. Done get wrecked, right? And it's brutal. They are not just making this a point of destroying a city for the sake of conquering. Now it's like a direct, yeah, God, where are you at? Even the enemies are taunting. Even the enemies are like, yeah, what are you gonna do? You didn't step in to help your people. This is almost kind of like a reversion back to when Moses called for God to remain with his people, right? So there was a point where God was so fed up with the Israelite crew, and this was over by Sinai. He's like, you know what, Moses, I can start over with you. Like, we can just wreck them. They're not willing to work with me. They're not willing to listen. We can just wreck them here and now, and we'll just start over with you. And so Moses steps in and he goes, whoa, no, we can't go anywhere without you. Like, you are the one that brought us out of Egypt. You're the one that saved us. Like, we need you. Like, don't destroy them. Remember your promise to Abraham, which is kind of interesting because that's the first thing that we're kind of throwing back, is like, remember the promise that was made that Israel is your special possession and that you are leading them. But then here's the other part of that. Here we have like the destruction of the area. It's almost like God is actually not there. And one of the things that God says, I can't be around you guys. Like, my anger is just like, I'm going to smite somebody if someone keeps on pushing. And even Moses is like, whoa, no, like, we need you close by, okay? Because there's some kingdoms out there that are wanting to destroy us, and like, if we don't have you, we are just gonna get wrecked. Like, we are not gonna be able to survive this on our own. And we see very clearly that's kind of the case. But like, insult to injury right here is these enemies that come in and destroy the temple, that are destroying these points of like praise for God and worship, these altars. They're kind of like rubbing in the face. This is again the thing of the wicked, right? The wicked rub in is like, who's God, right? There's no God. It's just humanity on its own. Strongest take over the weak. Bring it on. And it's like, dang. Like, they feel like they are completely abandoned. Like, God, where are you? What's the deal here? You can get where they're kind of vibing on that. And so then they are even reflecting here. Asaph's throwing down here, verses 9 to 11. We no longer see your miraculous signs. All the prophets are gone. Hence Solomon's joke. All the prophets are gone. Poor Banks. Oh boy. But like, all the prophets are gone. The people that are in communication with God, they're not around. And no one can tell us when it will end. Because typically a prophet will tell you that there's a certain time of judgment because Israel has gone wayward, has done its own thing, and is not listening to God, is not willing to focus on its relationship with God. So then, well, fine. If you don't want God around, then he can step out, and then you can feel the pain of no security from him, right? That's kind of the thing. And Asaph's like, we don't even know when this is going to be done. We don't know when we'll be free of this. How long, O God, will you allow our enemies to insult you? Okay, so now they're turning it as like, okay, now think about it. This is now insulting you, God. By them destroying us, it's insulting you. Will you let them dishonor your name forever? Why do you hold back your strong right hand? Unleash your powerful fist and destroy them. Like, the call is like, look, okay, if we messed up, okay, we get it. But also, like, we are your promised people. Like, this kind of is more now a credit on you. This is now looking at your credibility. That, are you there for your people? Are you going to defend and love on them? Are you going to be a support to them? Because right now, this is kind of like not just we're going through suckiness and like losing our homes and stuff like, no, like, this is getting to the point where evil is wrecking you. Like, by you turning your eye away, right? Like, the blessing is that may his face be toward you. May his eyes, his focus be on you. That's a blessing. It's not a curse. It's when God turns his face away from you and he doesn't want to even look at you. That's when things start to really suck. Because his attention, his protection is gone. It's hard wreckage. How many of you guys have really wrestled with that? At least with God, on like, you felt like God's eyes are not on you in a way of like protecting you or being there for you. Like, I can get Psalm 74 in some of this, and we're still not through it all, but yeah, throw a thumbs up in the chat if you feel that. Those of you who are listening to this in podcasts, like, throw it into the comments. Like, have you ever felt like God has bailed on you? That you're kind of like wondering, God, where are you at? Because that's okay. We get that. And I'm not saying that in judgment. I'm saying that in reflection of like, holy snap. Like, God, where are you? Right? Solomon, thank you for throwing that down. For sure. Been feeling that after 4 months of chemo. Like, dude. Solomon, how you managed to keep on coming back to this stream and keep on hearing this in the midst of that. I know that I could get really frustrated and just want to be like, God, I don't want to hear about you. I don't want to spend time in your word because it feels like you're not even here listening to me in the midst of my difficulties. Like, imagine the Israelites. They had hundreds of years under Egyptian slavery. And they're pleading for God to save them, and it just feels like there's no answer. Like, it sucks. And it's a hard place to be. And again, we can get this vibe of just like, all the prophets are gone and no one can tell us when this will end. Like, even if we knew there was a window, there's a light at the end of that tunnel to say, this is the time. So just like hold on through that. It's like, they're not experiencing that. They're not feeling that. And that's a very hard spot to be. Like that, Solomon, our conversations, man, like, you're in a really rough spot, and I'm blown away at how you keep on showing love to us here and love to the people on our Discord. Like, guys, that right there, that's resilience. That's heart. That's care for other people. In the midst of your own suffering, are you loving on other people? And I hope and pray that we can be that kind of encouragement and support for you, Solomon. Like, we got your back too. So you need a chat, throw it down. And that's the same for anybody else here online. You ever need a chat? Yo, there's so many socials that we got at GW Nerds. Like, throw a direct message that way. But also in our Discord, like, jump in. We've got a community that's what we're here for. We're able to share in that together. Oh, Solomon, well, I can't let a little thing like chemo get in the way of me showing God's love to everyone. Holy snap. Okay, guys, everyone take notes on Solomon here, okay? Take notes. Solomon just looks at this chemo thing like it's a little thing. I know that's a jest, but like, holy snap. Everyone, we gotta work out our hearts to look like Solomon, all right? Let's do some work here, guys. Come on. He knows how to show love like crazy, man. Good grief. Okay. Verses 12 to 17. You, O God, are my king from ages past, bringing salvation to the earth. You split the sea by your strength and smashed the heads of the sea monsters. You crushed the heads of Leviathan and let the desert animals eat him. You caused the springs and streams to gush forth. You dried up rivers that never run dry. Both day and night both day and night belong to you. You made the starlight and the sun. You set the boundaries of the earth, and you made both summer and winter. This segment is all about God's power. It was a reminder of God's power, a reminder that God is the one who's strong enough to push back on chaos, strong enough to stand up against chaos. And how do I see that? You split the sea by your strength and smash the heads of the sea monsters. So split the sea. We're back in we're back in Exodus, parting the Red Sea. God controls water, the big bodies of water, created this moment that was chaos, that could have been the end of the Israelite nation, and made it that he was able to bring freedom and order in the midst of that. Smash the heads of the sea monsters. In Leviathan, these were like chaos creatures. These were like the embodiments, at least within that culture, that There are things that you don't know that are in the waters that are dangerous, and yet God is the one who can, like, essentially one-shot them. And then not only does he one-shot them, he throws them to the other chaos monsters to let chaos destroy chaos, is what's going on in verse 14 there, by letting the desert animals eat them. You cause the springs and streams to gush forth. You are the one who orchestrates provision and peace. You dried up rivers that never run dry. He is the one who guides the structure of the world. Both day and night belong to you. You made starlight and the sun. This is the order of creation itself. We're back in Genesis 1 and 2 here. You set the boundaries of the earth. You made both summer and winter. He's the one who provides stability, peace. He's the one who creates the order, which is exactly what's needed here. But then the other part that's really needed, and I appreciate this, is the follow-up here that we start seeing. The follow-up that's going to be happening in verse 20 onward is the reminder of his people, right? Like, we know God is powerful. We've seen it time and time again. We are reminded of that. And I appreciate how the psalmist Asaph here is like, we know your power. We know your capacity. So then his follow-up, after describing all that God has done and can do, verses 18 to 19 says, see how these enemies insult you, Lord. A foolish nation has dishonored your name. Don't let these wild beasts destroy your turtle doves. Don't forget your suffering people forever. Interesting. These enemies insult you, Lord. They insult you, God. It's not my name at risk, it's yours, God. We're getting wrecked. A foolish nation has dishonored your name by attacking us, by destroying your temple, by essentially going, yo, where's this other stuff that, like, supposed to represent God? Like, let's wreck that and show, like, psh, this God is actually not here, right? And I think of Saint Boniface when he chopped down the tree that was supposed to be Thor's tree, and he chopped it down. It was a physical demonstration of a spiritual reality that ultimately God had more authority than Thor. To the point where they took the wood from that church and took the wood from that tree and made it into a church. Made it to the church that St. Boniface was working in. Like, throw down, right? That's essentially like the reversal in the way of God's side that these enemies are doing. These enemies are going like, hey, like, God, you're not really wrecking us because we're wrecking your temple. And this is where God's people are like, God, like, they are insulting you. They're challenging you. They're pushing you. And even goes into describing them like the chaos creatures themselves. Don't let these wild beasts destroy your turtle doves. Don't let these feral, wild people who just kind of do whatever attack your soft, innocent people who are unable to defend themselves without you. And that's actually a really good plea there, because that should have been the thought in the first place, is that we can't do anything without God. So we need to stay with him. We need to stay close to him. We need to be close to him. Don't forget your suffering people forever. Don't let us just get trampled into the dust, that we are just no more. We're no longer a thing. This is like a personal plea, guys, in verses 20 and 21. Banana? I don't even have something to eat. Oh, no. Tell you what, I don't have something to eat, but I do have coffee. And since you guys prefer hydration to be with water, I will hydrate with coffee. It's got coffee grounds in it. I'm sure there's extra sustenance in there somewhere. Oh, that was good. Oh, that was good. Thank you, Solomon, for that beautiful chorus style music. Okay. Verses 20 and 21. Remember your covenant promises. For the land is full of darkness and violence. Don't let the downtrodden be humiliated again. Instead, let the poor and needy praise your name. Okay, so remember your covenant promises. So this is like the Abrahamic covenant. This would have been the Davidic covenant that was made. So Abrahamic covenant as in like he's going to raise Israel as a bigger nation that's going to be a blessing to other people, and those who bless this nation will be blessed, and those who curse this nation will be cursed. But then there's the Davidic covenant, which is the idea that there will always be a son of David on the throne of Jerusalem as king and will reign, and through him he will bring order to the world as well. It's the longevity focus and all that goodness. For the land is full of darkness and violence. It's interesting. Like the covenant promises become the hope in the midst of the darkness. Remember your covenant promises, for the land is full of darkness and violence. Let that be your spotlight. Let that be the thing that brings peace and hope. The reminder for us to hold on to you and for you to see us and help us. It's kind of like a both of us look at that kind of thing together, and to be able to have peace in the midst of that. That's something there, guys. Don't let the downtrodden be humiliated again. Instead, let the poor and needy praise your name. Don't let people who can't defend themselves get wrecked. Instead, let the poor and needy praise your name because they see the hope that's coming. They're not left in the dirt. They're not left in a bad spot. They can trust that you are a God of your word, you do follow through, and you are reliable. Arise, O God, and defend your cause. Remember how these fools insult you all day long. Oh, snap. Don't overlook what your enemies have said, or their growing uproar. So remember, God, what you are designing your people for, what their purpose is for. And don't let these enemies just like kind of railroad and trash talk you. No, show them that these are your people. Show them that you have purpose for them and that you are with them, is really kind of what this plea is coming from. Don't overlook your enemies. Don't overlook what your enemies have said, or their growing uproar, their challenge, their pushback. Don't ignore it, God. Address it. Show up. Kick some faces in. God, do what you do best to chaos things. The reminder of that, right? That's kind of what the feeling is at the end of the psalm, is this hasn't been fully resolved. There's hope that God is a God who holds on to his promises. And woo, kicking faces, 100%, especially if they're demons, kick all the faces, punch them demon faces. But here, it's not seen as a spiritual authority, though I would kind of contend that the chaos creatures and stuff like that, this is the order of the structure of the world, how God is the one who orchestrates that, who guides the very foundations of the world, as well as like the powers within it. Leviathan is like quoted in Job as this creature that has been made, and the only person that has control over it is God. And yet he'll let Leviathan go off and play and do its own thing. It's just like, what the heck? It's almost like a pet to God, is the way Job kind of describes this relationship, this connection with Leviathan. But yet in other connections, it's this evil that's being destroyed and getting wrecked and then tossed off to the side and destroyed, like we just read here in Psalm 74. This psalm is a call for God to show up when things are disordered and freaking out. And this is where we see that, like, what do we do when life is in chaos? And we brought this time and time again. And the only reason why I bring this up, guys, is because, like, we are so easy to forget and we feel like God is not there. And I get it. And I'm not saying that you can't feel that way. We just went over this. You can. That's okay. It's okay to get frustrated, but also it's important to remind yourself of the promises, to hold on to that. The psalm ends with pointing the promises to God and to the people. To the people that are getting wrecked, to the lowly, to the needy. They need the reminder of the hope that is God, the faithfulness that He will not fully abandon us. He will not wreck us or destroy us if we are looking to Him. If we are honestly looking to Him, holding on to Him, death gripping those promises that He has made, because He is a God who's faithful. And what I appreciate off of that, specifically talking about the promises and remembering the Abrahamic covenant, if God didn't fulfill the Abrahamic covenant, He self-implodes. If you don't believe that, you need to read through Genesis. Go back to the Abrahamic covenant that He makes, the one where Abraham has to split the animals in two, and then Abraham goes into like this weird sleep and is conked out, and he sees two things walk in between the dead animals, and it's a torch and it's a kind of like a bowl, and they both have a flame. The reason why that's significant is because covenant wise, that's what you did to establish that you were going to follow through on your covenant. You took some animals, you cut them in half, and you actually made like this pool of their blood, which is absolutely disgusting and gross. Then what you did, the two parties would meet in the middle and stand in this pool of blood, and they would make their agreement with each other. And by doing that, it was saying, look, if I don't follow through on my promise or what I've committed to here, may I be like these dead animals. May I be just like these guys here. And so, like, here we have, God has been consistent on that. If He does not follow through on that, He self-implodes. Like, God says, may I die. But here's the interesting thing. God's promise went so far that He was the only one who was able to die, to be the pure sacrifice, to take all the things that are wrong with us. The one to save us had to sacrifice Himself to save us. He's willing to go the extra mile. The hard thing is when we are in the middle of it, and I'm not saying our situations are light by any means. Some of us have legitimate hard situations. But in the midst of that, like, how are we holding on to that? How are we helping each other? And I think really that's the big thing, is how are we as a community reminding of each other of the promises and demonstrating those promises by blessing each other, by loving on each other, by being a support for one another. We're all supposed to be walking with God. We're all supposed to be demonstrating how God shows up. But are we even doing that? We will do, oh, well, I'll pray for you, and that's kind of where it's at. Be the hands and feet of God. Work with this. So, what's the challenge that I get off of Psalm 74 here? 1, work on the promises of God. We've done that as a challenge in the past, but it's a good reminder. Are you reminding yourself of the promises that God has made? 2nd, are you praying those promises and saying, hey, God, there's this reminder of this, and not like you have to remind God, but it's a good reminder for you. And sitting with it and asking for that, asking for that. But then here's the other part 3 of this challenge. Are you demonstrating how God has fulfilled those promises for you in the past by blessing other people? Because in doing that, you can actually show how God is there in the midst of it. You very well can be the hands and feet of God and be the blessing that someone's been praying for and needing. I know Solomon has done that. I know that Wally has done that. I know Nuggets has done that. I know Tom has done that. And Hoff has done that. And they may be like, oh, like we've only just like checked in and stuff. That's a promise that God's with me. And you guys are that demonstration that you guys are responding to what God is saying in your heart to then check in with Wilson in the midst of some really sucky stuff. That's a fulfillment right there. And you're like, oh, well, I was just doing a thing. Like, that's just being nice. It's like, that's also listening to God. That's responding in a way that God wants you to respond, that demonstrates his love and really shows him there. You catch what I'm saying? Thumbs up, thumbs down, confusion, head scratch. I don't know. But that's where I see that's how we can answer that, how we can work on that. Thank you, Solomon, for the thumbs up. Thank you, Wally, for the thumbs up. All right, guys, I got to pray because then I got to mosey on over for a lunch program because apparently Wally is saying I'm having an epic lunch. I have no doubt of it. But anywho, I'm gonna throw down some prayer. Father God, thank you that we've been able to sit in Psalm 74 here. That we've been able to chew on your word and be honest and be able to say, God, I don't see where you're at. I don't see these miracles happening. I don't see how you've been impacting. And like, it feels like the world's crumbling and even the stuff that would seem to point to you is getting wrecked. So God, why? Show up. I need you to show up. I'm desperate for you to show up. To know your name is true, to know that you even are repping you. Because when chaos is hitting, it feels like, God, you're this God of order. Why is this chaos allowed to happen? This God that is able to establish order, it feels like there isn't anything like that going on right now. I thank you that we can come to you in boldness and be honest with you. You want that relationship. You want us to come and, like my kids, when they say, Dad, we said we were going to do this, or Dad, we always do this. And they're not being mean. They're being, they're able to see the structure of how we've created things as a family. And so God, help us to respond in that way too. Not in complaint, but just honestly, God, what's going on here? God, I need to see you. I need to have your peace. I need to have your rest, your sustainability, your comfort. I think of Solomon and, man, 4 months of chemo. Holy flip. God, I pray that you would clearly show up. I pray that we would clearly show up in ways for Solomon, that on his worst days, he's like, he gets this blast of love and support from us. Even if we're distant, like, distance doesn't matter. Heart and connection and response matters. And your love supersedes any kind of boundaries that go as far as distance, as far as limits to communication. Help us to be a family that demonstrates that. Help us to demonstrate your love. Help us to hold on to your promises. You are faithful, God. That's your characteristic. We can trust and rely on you. And when you make a promise, you're following through on it. So help us to demonstrate that in showing love to one another. God, I pray for our lunch. That would be a good time that the peeps that are coming on out there, they are getting fed bellies, they are supported and encouraged, but that we'd be able to pour into them. We'd be able to demonstrate your love and encouragement there. God, be with us as we step on out. May we look to you. May we have the boldness to cry out for your name in the midst of really difficult stuff, and have the faith to trust that you are actually going to show up and respond. That you are there and that you love us and that you do care about what's going on. We just ask this in your name. Amen. Well, guys, that is it for our Thursday special stream at the desk. Just a heads up reminder that I will not be on tomorrow. My dad's visitation is happening tomorrow, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Tillsonburg First Baptist Church. So I will... My family and I are piecing out tonight and heading on over there. But then also, just pray for us in that time. Because I know this weekend's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on my mom and my brothers. All our family is going to be feeling that kind of stuff. But just be with us and help us to be able to mourn well and to remember Dad well. Because, man alive, he was pretty intense. He's a pretty awesome dude. Thank you for the eyes up there, Solomon.
Eyes up, Guardian.
Good reminder. Good reminder. Eyes up on Jesus. He's with Jesus right now. Eyes up. Watch out for Superman. It's probably my dad. Anywho, I hope you guys have an awesome day. See you on Tuesday. Take care, and maybe don't pick your nose. Maybe. See ya!